Now that you've saved your file with the correct name, the U05A1 letterhead, it's time to insert a shape. Word has a variety of predefined shapes, and they're over here in the Insert menu. And you'll look in Shapes, sorry. These are types of drawing objects that you can insert into documents. And a drawing object is a graphic that you can create using Word. And examples of shapes and drawings may include rectangles, circles, triangles, arrows, flow charting symbols, stars, banners, and callouts. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to click on that insert and then display, which will display this insert ribbon band. And then what you want to do is in the illustrations group here, you're going to click on shapes and the rectangle shape. Now your pointer turns into a plus, and here you're going to draw your rectangle with a click and a drag. And now once I've released the mouse, my shape is in the document. Now I select the shape, or have it selected. That's what these white dots are all about. And with the shape selected, I click on the drawing tools. See, here's the drawing tools. And I need to choose a color. Let's see. So if I come into the colors, I want this one, a moderate effect gray accent 3. The next step we're going to do is to change the size. And the size is 5.3 or 0.53, and the width is 5.7, and that gives us the exact size that we want to use. Now we want to change the position of our object, and the position is we're going to put here, and the range is in the Arrange group, and we're going to make it in the center. Okay, so at this point we want to save our updates. You can click on the little save icon, or just hit your Control S, and that saves what we've done so far. Now we're going to add text to the shape. So what we're going to do is click the shape, right click it, and go to adding text. The text that you add is Village of Apple Park, and we're changing the font size, so I'm going to select the font and right click it and just change the font size to 26. With the text still selected, I want to right click again and make this text bold. To change the theme, we are now going to go into changing the theme by clicking on the Design tab. And this is the overall theme. So when I come into my themes, I'm going to choose Circuit. You should note that the color for the shape is now apple red. Time to save your updates again. So we're just going to click on the Save icon in my Quick Access toolbar, or again, Control S would do it. The image you will be using is for this letterhead is an apple that has been provided for you in the Unit 5 student files. So let's Follow these directions, click on Insert, Picture, and when you come here, you'll be inside the student files, and you want to choose the apple and Insert. Make sure you're not outside. Now, Insert, Picture, Apple, Insert. There you go. We will eventually be resizing the apple graphic, but before we do, we're going to change some of the background properties by following these instructions. Select the apple, click the Picture Tools option, and click Color. In the color menu, you want to choose Washout. With the graphic still selected, click the color option again and choose Set Transparent Color. After you've done this, click on the outside area of the apple and set the transparent color, and you've noticed that all of the color disappears. With the graphic still selected, you want to click on the corrections to adjust the color corrections, and click brightness minus 20%, contrast 20%. So let's see what we've got. Brightness, no, there we go. Brightness minus 20%, contrast 20%. Now we want to resize this. So we've got what we want, and let's change it to 0.53 in the height and 0.53 in the width. Here's my apple. We want two apples here, so we're going to click on my apple that I just sized, right click it, click copy, and then click away and click paste. Now when we set this up, we want both apples to be the same size, but the one on the right is going to be flipped. So we want to click the apple again, right click, and this time hit the rotate option in the Picture Tools. So we're up here at Picture Tools, and here's the rotate option, and we want it to flip horizontal. So there, now I have the two apples. With one of the apples selected, come to the Picture Border option in your picture styles and choose Lime Accent 1 darker 25%. That's teal. There's Lime Accent 1. Let's see, lighter, we want darker. There it is, darker 25% right there. Now we're going to take that format and copy it. So we've got, see, we want a border around both of them. So if I click on the apple again, come up to my Home tab and click the Format Painter and click on the second apple, I've got boxes around both apples. Our next step is to change the wrap on both apples. So I'm going to click on my first apple, come up to my Picture Tools, wrap it, and choose the tight option. Then go to the second, wrap, and choose the tight option as well. We're going to place the apple on either end of the rectangle. And so I'm going to enlarge my view here. grab my apple and place it next to the rectangle. And I can nudge it up a little bit with my arrow keys. Oh, let's see. And let's come back over to the other one. I'm going to take the, I'm clicking on the rectangle and then I'm going to bring the rectangle down so it lines with the, there. Now I've got it all lined up. So let's zoom back out. And now what I want to do is save my file again. Always good to save as you go along. In this next step, we're going to group the images. So what you do is you click on each image. Got the first apple, hold down my control key, click on the second, and then the third. So we have all them together. Come back to my picture tools and group this as one graphic. Now that my graphic is grouped, if I click on it, you can see it acts as one. So I want to take the whole thing and cut it. So I will right click, cut. I want to take it to the header option. And I can, here if I click on the insert tab and then choose header and just edit header. Now that I'm here, I can right click and paste. Should move the grouped graphic now to the desired location. And note, for most headers, your desired location, let's go here with wrapping the text top and bottom, would be about 0.25 from the top of the page. Now, we have that at the top of the page and it's top to bottom. So if I hit enter, here's my cursor and I want to make that centered. So I can again go to the home tab and hit the center option. And this is where I'm going to type the text. First, my font size should be 12. And I want to start typing all right, now I'm going to enter a space after the zip code and insert a symbol. We're going to come to the insert, and here's my symbol. And what you want to do is to make sure that you choose wingdings. So we have wingdings too, that's what we want. And we want the triangle with the square. So it's this one. And if you haven't recently used it, it would be further down on the list, and we have the triangle with the square right here. So I'm going to click on it and then click insert. I hit my space key and type the phone number. 555-7896 space, and then we're going to insert another symbol. So we've got the symbol again, and this time it's just going to be on the list, and I just have to click on it. And now I want to hit type email. Oops. And it's apple at applep.com. And when I hit space, it's going to have a hyperlink. So what I want to do is to go to that and right click it and remove the hyperlink. We're going to use the header tools option, which is up in your address bar now, to close the header. Since we've been saving as we go along, all we have to do is hit the save option again, and we're ready to submit the assignment. If you look at your print preview, you'll see that's what your letterhead looks like now.